Hello, guys. I'm back. Sorry for the abrupt thing. I have had my dinner break. I had some chicken chow mein from a local restaurant. Ooh. Just turn that down. And, yeah, I was not happy with the chicken chow mein. What was shown on the website was, like, nice, like, varnished walnut levels of brown. And what I got were, it was, it was, it was paper white noodles. And it just tasted like boiled vegetables. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I want to do. I also have some fortune cookies. Let's open this one up and see what's in it. That's my fortune. You will be unusually successful in business. That's not what my field is. Oh, bad idea. Don't like it. Don't like it. I've still got 3 fortune cookies. There's stuff stuck in my teeth. I'm out of water. Oh yeah, there's the fire. Yeah. My head doesn't hurt. Yeah, it doesn't hurt. So if I've got 3, if I 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, now just have an extra lava bucket. How nice. Yeah. Feels like there's something in my throat. Also, yes, I did see my previous recording. And comparing it between the previous one and an old recording, the volume is so much better. Leagues better. maybe a little loud, but that's all. Whatever it isn't like extremely low. Unfortunately, I didn't find that out earlier. So yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna open another fortune cookie. You are admired for your accomplishments. Well, debatable. Debatable. Nice. Yeah. Oh. Never noticed that cave. Hold on. That looks different. My chair needs some oil. Yep, I got a big oak. That was the most dumb thing I could have done. Wow, that was by the skin of my teeth. That was by the skin of my teeth. Oh. Well, the music is just unfittingly calm. Whoa. That's cool, I like that. And don't worry, yes, I'm gonna go back to the cabin, and then I'll go check out the wheat there. Take it all out, replant it. Because I need my health back. Oh, no! Are you serious? Oh my, I'm an idiot. Luckily on my other monitor, it's rather crisp. We're gonna be here for a second. And no, I do not care if I lose this obsidian. Wow, that is... I don't know how to make another portal, guys. I'm sorry. That was gonna take a second. Now I'm gonna... There's another fortune cookie. Your mind is quick and your memory is good. Well, that second part's just a lie. Oh, there we go. Ah. Hmm. I was thinking for a bit, hey, what if that spring, well, that old spring was lava? And I thought, let me try it, and then I quickly realized, no, that's like the most idiotic thing I could have done. It would have burnt down that entire place. And I would have been mad. Mad and sad because I would have been dumb. Luckily, my IQ is not 3, it's 4. Those seeds will remain for a second. You know, boom, boom, boom. Let me be smart. I forgot. I need to replant it. Almost double what I needed. There's something. It feels like something's stuck in my throat. Man, only one fortune cookie left. How sad. Well, time to collect more lava. I just want to get that nether portal, and I'm excited. Because I may finally get it. I may finally get my grubby hands on it, my sausage fingers. That's weirdly symmetrical. It's a neat shape too. The land bridge. One thing that I've kind of learned over my time alive is that no matter what you say, even if it's a basic fact, somebody out there will disagree. Somebody out there will not agree with it. Even the most basic of things. That was not smart. Hmm. It's stuck in my teeth. Oh, it's good. It will give me a headache if I continue to try and get it. Lava flows in a buggy fashion. Hmm. Here. I got the thing stuck in my teeth out. I think it's a carrot. I don't like raw carrots. And it made me extra sad because the place where we got my my dinner, we also got spring rolls from that place, and those it just kind of tasted like steamed vegetables and grease. Cheap. Where my family's not going back there ever. I am slightly giddy because I will finally get my nether portal. Even this wandering, this aimless wandering, is faster than the next fastest thing. Also, quite the voice crack I had. I don't like just small floating dirt things like that. I don't like it. I don't like things like that. Things like that I'm fine, but if it's just like tiny little dirt things, I don't like it. Cow. Yeah. Hmm. Yep. Oh, I've got an ex. I didn't know I had that. Excuse me. Do I? No, I do not have time. So, I'm going to rip down that path up there. Actually, no, I won't. That's not a smart idea. It's a neat place. It almost goes out of sight. I didn't know that. Well, I need to go back down. There. Yeah. You know, let's open this final fortune cookie. Keep up the good work. You will be rewarded. Yeah. Hmm. Mm. Hmm. There. Other half. Now I've got the dirt. I'm just gonna retrieve the torches from behind here. And just start filling it in. I'm probably going to be super gassy tomorrow due to the healthy dose of just steamed vegetables. At least I won't be running low. Man, that was a sad dinner. I expected what it basically told me to expect. I looked at the image and I was like, I'm gonna expect that. But, no. Quite the sad dinner. Well. Well. At this point, this version just kind of looks normal to me. Whenever I look at modern Minecraft, it just seems so off. Something just kind of seems wrong about modern Minecraft. And that doesn't mean, oh, there's something wrong with it, that means it's bad. No, it's just I don't know, it's just... Oh my. But yeah. Hmm. This is just kind of a cool area, though. Like, it's a cute little pirate bay. It's adorable. I thought I jumped. Guess not. Hmm. Oh my, whoa, whoa. First thing I thought I was gonna walk off into the lava. Sorry if I don't talk. I don't have much to talk about. Even if I tried from that previous demonstration, I might not even be able to do it. Yeah. I should not be holding the lava like that. I'll just do this. Oh, I was paying attention to something else. I was thinking about something else, so that's why you saw that beautiful display of pure craftsmanship, pure gameplay. I just like to have fun in this version. I don't. Now I don't really worry that much. I want to see some clay. Hmm. And I'll do that. Happy day, I got a little bit more. Wait a minute. That block gave me double the amount of clay. That's what's required to make a clay block, so theoretically, like, yeah. Then with this, if I mine it both, I thought I could have a bit of fun and see if I can increase it, but now I realize that I would have had the opposite happen. It would just decrease, and then I would have been pretty upset, but luckily, I quit while I was ahead with my 8 clay. Yeah, it's just called clay. I thought it was called something else. Yeah. Ow. Yeah. I'll have some extra lava. Yeah. Grab it out of the non-natural spring. My brain is slowly turning to mush. I was hoping to keep that. Ah! Good thing I can just kind of brown mushroom. I don't know what I'll use soul sand for, but I'll keep it in the back of my mind. Eh. Finally, I have access to glowstone. Technically, I'm not going out there to get glowstone for now. I want the netherrack. Oh yeah. Let's just man this for a bit. I want to get a stack, so I'll just tunnel. I already have a stack. Oh. Wait, where did I get that? It's something I don't need. I'll just eat that. Now, I'm satisfied for now. I'll go and start building the roof. Ah, it's so loud. Let it all glitchily load in. Get out of my sight. And then it starts to turn to night. How lovely. I am. Once I get the ceiling on, then I can move my bed inside. And I can finally seal away this weird little nook. Alright, so anyway, tell me about how your day went. Did you sleep well? Interesting. Did you drink water today? I thought so. Anyways, back to making the roof. I'm gonna take this way. Ooh. This is gonna require a lot more netherrack than I thought. It's fine. I'm gonna go down to the ground and check how that roof looks from the front. Not bad. I thought it was fall. I've got a little thing I want to do though. I am so glad I have this staircase here. It makes it so much easier to access. It's still not the easiest thing. Gonna do that. Pause something like that. How does that look from afar? Okay. Okay, I'm not doing that again. I need to step back a little bit more. About to there. Never mind, the trees block it. I don't think I'm gonna overcomplicate it. Yeah, no, I'm not. And this forest, man, I don't need that much oak at this point. Oh, ho, ho. Oh, good, good, good. I think I'll just, boom. It's all coming together. Slowly but surely, and with lots of mining and so many frustrated cries. It's just slowly coming together. Very, very slowly. This was a stack, really. Well, whatever the case, I can get more. Yeah. I will need chapstick. I'll go get it. Oh, I didn't think I had that much cobblestone. That's good. Well. Yeah. Two stacks this time. just gonna make a crafting table here. I'm not going all the way back. Well, that makes me realize I haven't been talking for a little bit. But now I've got 2 stacks. A whole whopping 2 64s. Where is that gas coming from? That was my idea. Alright, calm down! My fortunes went everywhere. And I got to the overworld. Nice. Ow. I shouldn't have done that. My neck hurts slightly now. Look at that. I like that. I like it. You can't tell me, oh, it's bad. It's not the best. Like, I'm not saying it's the best. But it's not the worst. I've seen so much worse. Oh, that's a little irritating. I mean, you can kind of get a preview of how it's going to look. This needs some windows. And no, I don't need more forest fires. I don't need another fire. Is there something I can throw out? What's the most trivial thing here? The dirt. Not gonna lie, I don't really need the dirt. Oh my god. My brain. Oh, this cow. I'm going to need another glass. Boom. Ow. Oh, I hate having an overbite. I hate it. At least I'm getting it fixed. But still, some of your gums get a bit swollen, and then you kind of just can't close your mouth fully, otherwise it hurts really badly. So that's lovely. Amazing, even. Yeah. Time to just I like this level. It's nice. Oh, I need to get up again. There. I've recently been reading a book called The Big Bonanza, and it's a really interesting read. It's a rare glimpse into the life of a person, like, almost 200 years ago, which is insane. One of them is just sharing, like, a funny story where they pranked one of their friends. After one guy, like, it was when they were going out prospecting, and one of the guys needed to wait across the river. So Tom, which is just like some kind of guy, I don't know, the only thing they noted him down as important was having this really nice horse. I don't know why. But, like, Tom decided to pay this other guy, Pike, which seems like some kind of illiterate bloke, and decided to pay him like half a penny, which sounds like an atrocious pay to get somebody to go on your back. But keep in mind, this was like 200 years ago, and money was actually worth it. It was actually nice to have. The money was actually nice. It's just So, Tom wanted to get carried across on Pike's back. And so they did it. But then Pike started exclaiming that he was getting bitten by a snake. Exclaiming, "Ah! Ah!" Why is my score read out like that? Anyways, that's my first workplace accident. Well, that's not great. So anyway, Pike started exclaiming that there was a boot biting him to shreds. And Tom wasn't having any of it. He was frustrated and told Pike that if he kept going, he would smack him. And so as Pike kept going, eventually Tom smacked him over the head. Well, smacked him in his jaw really hard, causing Pike to fall over, throwing both of them into the water. Eventually, Tom coming up, apparently possibly getting thrown so hard he went like a foot into the mud, came up angered and started clicking his revolver at Pike as Pike started to dance. Well, was dancing because, like, yeah. And it's just, there's all that. So then when they settled down for, like, gold, which, by the way, they didn't find any. So, that was probably great. But, yeah, they went there, and they eventually started to camp. Which, by the way, earlier, after the whole ordeal, Tom and Pike called a truce. Shook hands on it, everything. And when Tom was putting on his boots, which, by the way, Pike was watching him intensely, eventually, Tom put on his boots and immediately started yelling in pain. "There's a scorpion in my boot," yelling for somebody to take it off. Pike came up and was, like, trying to take it off. "His foot is swollen really badly. I can't take it off." Of course, he talked in a much different way. So, yeah. And eventually, Tom was yelling, cut it off! Cut it off!" And so, Pike took his Bowie knife to the boot, and before it was almost cut completely in half, the boot was taken off, revealing a prickly pear. And Tom, not even seemingly angered, just kind of like went and started Tom started to pull out the little spines. And so, eventually, Pike didn't seem at all happy, seems rather distressed after and uneasy. Eventually, talking to the person who was writing down this story, I don't know who he is, so many people contributed to the book. And, Tom came up and was like, that was a real villainous thing for him to do. And then, asked if he, why did Pike seem uneasy? At which point the writer said that Pike was worried about Tom killing him, at which point Tom was like, why would he be such a fool as to think that? Something like that. And the writer said, well, people out here have been killed over much more trivial things. And so, Tom, hearing this, decides to come up with an idea. A possible comeback to scare Pike witless. And so, eventually, there was because this was 200 years ago, there was some people said they spotted some Indians. And so there was this whole scare in the camp, and everybody with a mule wanted out of there. And so everybody started going out of there, because they were the guys that had the mules. And, hold on. Just a little bit. And so, after all this, Tom proposed a possible plan to set up camp right where the Indians could possibly get him, because he knew the Indians were setting off for the actual battle that was going on. And so they set up shop right near the mouth of the canyon. And with this, hold on, that's a cool little area. And with this, they start to set off. They set off and eventually settled down right in a big open area. And all the while, Pike was not at all happy. He wanted out of there. And so, they just set up shop. After a conversation, they went over how, if anybody were to leave, the Indians would be waiting there for them. And if anybody came out, they would, get them. And so, Pike didn't want to leave, but also didn't want to stay. And so with that, they stayed. The people with the mules went off, much to Pike's disagreement. And so, hold on. It's loud. And with that, the people with the mules were off, back home. And the rest of them were there. and just kind of camping out because, like, what else can he do? And it was turning night. And so they set up shop, set up tents, big roaring fire, and Pike pointed out that that was perfect for having the Indians know they were there, even though there were no Indians around. And so, he was rather discontent, constantly looking over his shoulder, and eventually Tom bursted out in roaring singing, much to Pike's disagreement, which was just kind of like a song about setting off for prospecting. So, Pike was really upset at that point. Not having any of it. Really not having a single bit of it. And eventually, it came time to go to bed. And everybody set up. All except kind of for Pike. He laid out his little bed thing. And so, he was constantly looking around every about like 5 minutes, they said. And, yeah, Pike was not having a good time with this. Eventually, Pike fell asleep, at which point a signal was given of a hat being raised. And, well, a bunch of people snuck up a nearby slope, which would have rocks rattle whenever anything went over it, which is why Pike was looking around every now and then, because you could kind of just hear everything. Anything going on, you could hear it. Pike eventually fell asleep. The hat was raised, and all of the rest of the members there, which were also on the joke, which is also why they even set up there. They climbed up the slope stealthily and eventually started running down, making as much of a racket as possible, firing off their revolvers into the air. Pike came up with a start, and then Hank, which was the guy next to him that raised his hat for the signal, he grabbed onto Pike's leg, claiming that he was injured, and Pike carried him off, threw him into some thorny bushes, and ran out of there. By the time of morning, nobody really felt that good about the prank. Nobody felt very good at all. And so, they said Pike left his hat. They set off to look for Pike, all the while bringing his hat, and, quote, the person holding his hat looked as though he was in a funeral position, holding part of the corpse, which is insane to me. And they set off. They went to the river they had to go across. Remember that. They got back to that, and they didn't wade through the same spot, and instead decided to take the ferry, asking if anybody had gone through. Although the guy said no, he had left the boat on the west bank as he had the night prior. Excuse me. And so they were really worried at this point because Pike could have been exhausted, and so there were only two possibilities. He got back to the town, nowadays called Dayton, or he got swept away and drowned. So they decided to go and check into Dayton. Eventually, they saw Pike with a handkerchief wrapped around his head, loudly exclaiming to all of the people in the town about his story. Pike noticed and stood there, shocked at the fact that his party members were alive. At which point, his friends started to gaslight him into thinking it was a dream, saying that he was twisting and tossing every 5 minutes or so until eventually he got up and took to his heels. So, great friends there. And eventually, Pike bought this. He was constantly going that this was the clearest dream he has ever had. And started to believe it was a dream. At which point, even when some of his friends were to come back and just tell him that they were joking, which, great joke, guys, Pike wouldn't believe it. Kept going that it was a dream, and eventually started twisting what happened into a show of heroics. And would eventually twist it into, a battle. I will not describe what he would later say, because I don't think I'm allowed. I am already stretching what I can do just by talking about this story. But, yeah. No, it was all. I don't get why this book, based off of the Comstock load, would also have random stories, like a nice, very pretty solar eclipse from atop a mountain above the clouds, described in great detail. And then, in the same trip where Pike would get into a, quote, battle, earlier, there was this other guy, who I don't remember what they called him, but he, oh, man, this guy, he was described as, the one thing he wanted to do in life was to flip a, quote, slapjack in the fancy way, aka tossing the pancakes or whatever it is into the air and then catching it again in the pan, but could never quite do it. And so, eventually, in the cabin, he exclaimed that he was going to do it or die, as he had learned that, as he had somehow thought that it would require all of his strength. And so, in the cabin, he wound up his whole body, squatted down, and tried to flip it with such force that it had never come down. It never came back down. It was stuck fast to the ceiling. Which, honestly, great story. Also, neat cave. It just never came down. And then another thing about how a guy caught a scorpion and cooked it for his friends and decided to hide the pelt. At which point, everybody exclaimed that was delicious and wondered what it was. So this guy, I think, went off and said it was like a rabbit, until he eventually, as a joke, brung back up the pelt, at which point everybody was so furiously disgusted that they just kind of ran around and did some things I don't quite remember. And then it goes off about the guy who the namesake for this entire mineral strike, And let me tell you, he's a real piece of work. I would not, if you get the book, I'd recommend not reading the part about like Comstock's relationships, because that was like the wildest thing I have ever read. The weirdest thing. I could not. It sounds fake. Hold on. Oh. Oh, oh, oh! Why does it show a pig? I don't know. I need to go clear out my inventory. It's just a good book. I would kind of recommend the Big Bonanza. Very interesting. Small little glimpse into the life of a prospector. Which, by the way, is not that great. You would not want to be a prospector, let me tell you. Furious work. They even go over that in the book. Showing like 2 little sketches showing a happy, merry guy. A merry man. Go setting off for everything. And then the second one showing what I think is supposed to be the same guy. Except you can't tell if they're the same guy. Like, you just can't tell at all. Not at all. Completely different. And I just... It's insane to me. The guy had a full beard, like giant beard. You could not tell. And yes, he did look completely dejected. It's a wild book. Also, randomly, while I was reading, there was a photo, there was like another sketch labeled Man Eater showing this weird, like, honey badger bear thingy. I don't get what it is. It was never mentioned before, and it was never mentioned again. So that's lovely. And yes, this is a long recording. Yay, I won. This is a gnarly looking building. You little... Hate you. Hate. Boom. Bam, 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 bam. I should have enough to grab whatever's down there. Boom. I'm gonna go pop back down, grab the interesting things. Good thing I'm getting mossy cobblestone. It's only available through that way, specifically. Dungeons. That's it. That's it. That's all it is. Only dungeons. Yoink. I'll need that. I'll just grab the mossy cobblestone. Oh, I forgot it deletes the block if it just breaks off. I am so upset now. I'm gonna have to wrap this up very soon. My recording is saying like over an hour just for this ladder recording. So I should have kept a closer time and stopped while I was ahead. My head. Ow. It's just kind of hurting. It's getting late because yes, you can see my time. It's getting late. I don't care if it's technically not late. It's dark outside. I can see there's no light coming through my windows. Not a single ray. How do I get out? I think it's up here. I'm gonna need more oak. I am. Yay. Bum, 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 bum. It took so long to explain that Pike's story. Also, I kind of like Pike. He just kind of comes off as like this, just kind of this guy. And yes, in the story that I told you, at some point he does say something really bad, but it's just kind of a mark of its time. I'm not gonna say what he said. It's just not good. That's all I can say. I don't even want to get I don't even want to try and describe what it is. It's just it's not good. Get that out of my inventory. It's just I know this song. That's quite a leap of faith. At this point, I think I've heard every single song this version has to offer. And they're still good. Forgot swollen gums. Yeah, I like this song. You know what? Oh, I'm just... My head is hurting. I'm tired. I'm so tired. You know, it's just, this has been really nice. It's just... I'm gonna go. I can't handle it much more. Bye-bye. It's been such a pleasure.